So this is the wrap up, the wind up for our series on returning to source, we're calling it. It seemed so appropriate to start out the month of September talking about going back to school. And we talked about how all the institutions of our society are being reimagined in the light of a new state of consciousness. And that's what this is, this series is all about, to just see things through new eyes. And we started out quoting this poem, T.S. Eliot. Have you heard this quote? And the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. A deeper knowing, a deeper encounter, a deeper appreciation. That's what it is. You know, the idea of everyone coming out fearlessly from their homes with no more threat of pandemic to come to church. Doesn't it just delight you? Doesn't it? You just can't. The anticipation of that reunion is such a joy. So it was back to school, and we had a little vision of something that any organization could do, invite young teenagers to spend time in residence for, like a week or two or three, and teach them all the life skills that the congregation knows. Teach them to manage their finances, teach them to keep their car in repair, teach them simple home maintenance skills. Those kinds of that kind of information is kind of gets lost by the wayside because we're also wrapped up in the moment of technology. And the tradition of passing our wisdom on to our younger generation I think it gets overlooked a lot. So to refurbish that and to strengthen and renew and empower young people to feel competent and to feel connected to each other and to all the ages is something that education can offer. And then our second step in returning to source was back to work. And that again, like in this time of COVID, going back to work is charged with a lot of trauma because jobs are being withheld. We've closed a lot of public gatherings, and a lot of jobs have disappeared or don't exist right now, and people are having to scuttle around to survive. And the point we made in going to work and having work was do everything with love, whether you're paid to do it or not. We talked about how when you go to the other side, when you make your transition, and you look at your past life review, are you going to be saying, now, I was paid $10 an hour to do that, but I did that for nothing? We're not going to be doing that. No, that is not our life. Our life consists of what we create with love and with joy. Back to work. And then last Sunday was back to church. We talked about how this time last year we were doing a membership drive, and we had a ceremonial ritual with a big circle of people, and I went behind each person with a feather and crossed their shoulders with a feather and down their spine and blessed them. And that was a thrill. That was a thrill. We can't do that now, I guess. No, because we're not touching each other. And feathers, feathers are very adhering of all kinds of contaminants. So we're not using feathers either. Yeah, they are, So yeah, we just had a picture of the feather, which is in your program folder. And it symbolizes our ability to rise in consciousness, our ability to take flight, our ability to ascend. Over the years, the different words for that process have come into popular usage. In the beginning of Unity, they talked about unfoldment, spiritual unfoldment. And then Charles Fillmore talked about spiritualizing all the different powers in the 12 powers, and that's called the regeneration. Same thing. And then we stopped talking about regeneration and we started talking about ascension. I think there was one in between there. But it's all the same thing. It's that acceleration, that anointing of our spiritual awareness that expands to ever greater power. So now today we're talking about back home, going back home. And it evokes one of the most mysterious and spiritual passages in the Bible where Jesus says, "In my Father's house are many mansions." So I want to talk to you about that passage, and then do a little exercise here and be thinking about what can you write in those empty spaces of this. It's a picture of the back of a doll's house. What can you write? Like in the top, in the attic part, what can you write in there to represent the title of your ascension, the theme of your spiritual path? And what different areas of realization, you might want to call them areas of growth. I want to call them areas of realization, areas of opportunity that you have in your life, that you are affirming ever greater good for those areas. But let me read you what Charles Fillmore tells us about these interpretations. So in our Bible study, Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, he only wrote 2 books about Bible. One is called Mysteries of Genesis, and the other is Mysteries of John. And that quote, "In my Father's house are many mansions," is from John, the very beginning of chapter 14. Jesus is in the upper room with his disciples just days before he's captured, and he's trying to explain to them what's about to happen and what it all means. So it's very handy, and Fillmore uses the exact quotes that he's interpreting, and then he interprets them. So we're talking about, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, for I go to prepare a place for you." And he says, many mansions means many abiding places. Mansions comes from the Latin manere, to remain. The meaning of Jesus was that he was making a permanent abiding place for those who believed in his teaching and accepted him for what he really was, God manifest. Just think about that. Some translations say, "In my Father's house are many rooms," and that works too. But I think that to say "my Father's house has many mansions in it," it blows your mind. It takes you out of rational linear thinking and intellect, and takes you into a realm of symbolism, possibility. Okay, and then there's a wonderful text here in our Revealing Word, which is a dictionary of spiritual and metaphysical terms. He has mansions in here. He says, degrees of realization of the truth of being. We like to say truth of being rather than heaven or God, or it's so much more precise. Okay, degrees of realization of the truth of being. That's capital T and capital B, because it's naming the divinity. The place that Jesus prepared is a definite state of realization of truth into which all may come, all who take up the same denials and affirmations that he took up. Kind of interesting to think of Jesus doing denials and affirmations. Yeah, because he said, "Get thee behind me, Satan." When Peter said, "Jesus, I don't want this to happen to you." Yeah, he denied the belief that he couldn't do it, that he was too weak, that it was too hard for him. Jesus was always letting go of any limited error thinking and embracing the infinite possibility of, of reality. I want to tell you about this one I think is widely misunderstood, this one experience where Jesus, early in his ministry, he was approached by a Canaanite woman, and the Jews, thought the Canaanites were not part of their uh, world. And Jesus, Master, can you please heal my son? And he said, well, I came to take care of the Hebrew people, and it is not meet, or it is not appropriate that what was meant for the children should be given to the dogs. He called her a dog. But you see, then she came back and said, yes, but even the dogs eat the crumbs on the floor. So she wasn't daunted by that. And my understanding of that is that he was testing her to see if she were prejudiced, to see if she reacted and say, yeah, well, that's what I thought you Hebrew people were like, didn't like us. And yeah, I don't think he sincerely meant that she was a dog, but that he was testing her to see if she really sincerely trusted in his message and in his power over and above any nationality or religious affiliation. Yeah, that's quite a story, isn't it? Isn't it? Because he said, I have not seen such faith even among my own people. Go thy way. Thy son is healed. Yeah, yeah. So, how many of you recognize the home on the front of the cover? What is that? Would anyone in any... before I lived here, I wouldn't have recognized it. It is, I just love to drive by there. It is so beautiful. I have yet to go on the tour. But this is our Muskegon pride and joy. Okay, and you can see there are many rooms in this, many spaces in this structure. But now, so I want you to think about your own journey, and get this paper in hand. I was thinking, we could collect them if you'd like to share it. I make a little display board and put what people hand in. But if it's private to you, you don't want to turn it in, just keep it. And when we have our offering blessing, you can put it in the offering plate with your offering if you want to share it. But it's for you. It's for you. You want to take it home and put it on your own mirror so you can remind yourself of your experience here today. So in the top of the attic, just reflect on what is the name of your spiritual home. What is your final aim? Where is your end point? What is your goal? Now we know there's no ultimate end point or goal, but what motivates you to move forward? Is it to experience greater love? Is it to realize more abundance? Is it to have greater fellowship? Whatever. Anybody need a pen? I've got some extras. Okay. And then take one of the rooms. What is an abiding place for you in consciousness? How do you want to abide in your moment-to-moment awareness? How do you want to experience the presence of God in your heart? Or maybe you just want to experience the presence of God in your heart. Let your inspiration and your intuition speak to you to fill in something, one of these rooms. And then just go ahead and fill in the other three. Just think of places, rooms that you would like to occupy, you would like to furnish, that you would like to create, that you would like to inhabit. Spaces, a space, holding a space. Would anyone like to come up to the mic and share what they've written in their rooms? Makes it real when you announce it. Come on up, Martha. So pick up the mic and tell us what you've got on the top, from the top down.
Okay, the top attic is growth and oneness, spirituality with the divine, because that's what they talk about. God is in all of us, and we are all divine. So that's big. That's huge. And so I have to practice that all the time to try and tap in. So the middle houses, there have been maybe a couple of moments in my life where I knew the divine supreme being was speaking to me and even made me laugh. I would love to have more of those because those moments are real, makes me realize that there is someone up there, there is someone looking out over us, there is afterlife, etc. So it's those magical moments where the Supreme Being is talking to me or tapping me on the head.
Beautiful.
And,
put the mic up to your mouth.
Oh,
yeah, there
okay.
you go. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like I have such a loud voice that I don't need a mic, but I guess you probably do. The basement is personal. It's growing in patience and opening my heart up more, which just happened with a foster dog I took in.
Oh.
And so, so that's patience and an open heart.
Beautiful. Thank you, Martha. I can remember her name because it's the same name as my sister. Yeah. I have oneness too in my attic. I have the same word, oneness. Anybody else? Can I share mine? I'll tell you. I didn't have it planned. In one room, I have order and prosperity. I see those hand in hand, you know. And then gratitude and appreciation. I want to live in that consciousness of gratitude and appreciation. And the one of the rooms is fellowship. Fellowship is so a rich part of life, isn't it? I'm so grateful when I have people come together and, you know, like my friends that took me to the Shipshewana flea market. We wanted each other's company for 2 nights and 3 days. And then I have health. I want to live in the consciousness of health. And one of the big breakthroughs has been for my health lately is to have Kathy Bowman as my yoga teacher and come to your classes, Kathy. Yeah, thank you. She teaches them here Monday and Friday at 9:30. Yeah. So we get a good workout with you. Yeah, something my body would never have done those things. Roll your bones, she says. Yeah. So just if you want to put your sheet into the offering and let me, you know, I'll display them or keep it to yourself. It's your choice, okay? All right. All right. Now, I want to talk about the feeling of home. Uh, and last week, the sermon on back to church, you know, Rosa was here, and she always wants to have the notes written out so she can give them to her son who is deaf. So I gave her my notes, and I forgot to replace them with another copy. So in the evening service at 6 o'clock, I'm up here and I realized, oh, I don't have any notes. I gave them away. And so I went and got them off my phone because I send myself an email with the attachment of my sermon outline so I can practice it, you know, and I don't have to worry about carrying paper with me. Okay. So I got the phone and I opened it up, and it took me a while to bring it up, and it was kind of awkward. And I say to all those people who were here at the 6 o'clock service last week, be sure and watch the YouTube video of Back to Church, because that was the sermon that I was hoping to give you. But so now for the first time, guess what? I made 2 copies. Okay. All right. So, the feeling of home. This is almost a poem, you know. But I want to evoke the safety and the defenselessness and the softness, the relaxation that we can have in a feeling of home. When you are home, you are enfolded with loving arms. When you're home, you have no need to hold yourself in. When you're home, you have everything you need. It's all there in the shelves, in the cupboards, in the closets, in the bags, in the boxes. When you're home, you can do whatever you like. You know, one of the things that kept coming to me as I was thinking about this was how much I love to use mayonnaise. Whenever I'm with other people, they go, "You're using so much mayonnaise." Okay, so when you're home, you can do whatever you like. Use as much mayonnaise as you want. Okay. When you are home, you can take your time to learn something you want to master. How many of you have taught yourself something at home that you just had to take time and sit down and do it? Like I taught myself to play the guitar at home. Yeah, write in your journal for as long as you want. Or learn to make pies and roll the dough. Take as long as you want to teach yourself to do whatever it is that you want to learn to do. When you're at home, you can prepare your food the way you like it, with as much mayonnaise as you want. I have a way of cooking eggs. I don't know what it's called, but it's not scrambled and it's not omelet and it's not It's like I put the egg in the pan and I break the yolk. I cook it real low, and then I turn it over on purpose, letting some of the yolk spill out around. And then after about 30 seconds, I turn the heat off. And that way you get to taste the white and the yolk, and neither one of them are cooked beyond just being solid. Is there a name for that? No, they're broken. The eggs are broken and turned over. Yeah. So there's no name for it. Eggs a la Diane. Okay. When you are home, you can wear anything you like. Yeah, you can just parade around the house and put on different things that you want to see what they look like. You can wear anything you want. Or not. Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Or not. When you're home, you're free to be yourself. You're free to be yourself and eat your sandwiches with as much mayonnaise as you like. Okay. Yeah, you're free to be yourself. You don't have to answer to anybody. When you're home, the people around you are familiar at a deep level. See, that's a very different thing from being around people you haven't known very long, from being around people that you don't even know at all. But family, that's what family is. Yeah, and when you do get familiar with people at a deeper and deeper level, then it becomes like family. And that's why we say we are a spiritual family on a journey of love. But most of all, when you're home, you can get quiet enough to hear your intuition, your inner voice, your God. And I think that's what's meant metaphysically by home, is coming home to hear your true divine presence speaking in and through you. So let us make everywhere our home. Let us make ourselves at home wherever we are, by being authentic, by being honest, by being kind and gentle, by being intuitive, by being at peace, with grace and a smile, with a loving touch, with a thought of highest good. Amen. So you'll find in your program folder our statement for meditation. I am at home wherever I am, enfolded in the loving arms of the Christ presence. So let's breathe into that and give thanks for the realization that we have the power to be at home wherever we are. For indeed, this creation is our home. This earth is our home. This humanity is our family. And the divine is our all-enfolding parent. And so knowing this, we can deeply relax, allowing the activity of divine light to stir in us in every fiber of our being, to feel the thrill of intuition pouring forth in us, whispering into our minds the secret of love, life, and power. That it is the Christ Spirit within us, eternal, perfect, whole, and free. And so we let these words be our words now. I am at home, wherever I am, enfolded in the loving arms of the Christ presence. And so it is in this silence. For there is but one presence and one power, God the good, omnipotent. Amen.